Hunting Florida's Canoe Creek WMA for Deer and Hogs, William Hovey Smith, 2016. I'm the author of Backyard Deer Hunting, and here we are going from Georgia down to Florida to hunt with some unusual muzzleloading guns and also prepare for a later duck hunt in Georgia.
This is Hovey Smith with Hovey's Outdoor Adventures. We have concluded a 3-day hunt at the Canoe Creek WMA in central Florida below Ocala. Now it is the last week in December, very nearly the last day, and the weather here is now in the mid-70s for those of you who are up in the winter country and covered up with snow. And following this hunt, I'm going to Georgia for a waterfowl hunt. So I'm toting 2 sets of gear. One set for waterfowling and one set for deer and hog hunting, as well as the usual other muzzleloading stuff I carry. Now for the waterfowling gear, I have my waterfowling spear. This is a segmented spear, so I can take it apart and put it in the back of my truck. And I use it as a wading staff to get me out through the muck in my waders. On some of these areas we go to, which are in flooded rice paddies, and getting around in the paddies themselves, you're walking around in water, weeds that have been brush cut, and muck in waders in water that is, well, usually thigh deep. Now I also have a tub, because in some of the areas you have a boat provided by the state, and others you must walk to. And this tub, this mortar tub, enables me to carry my decoys and shooting bag as well as my gun and not have to carry everything on my back. So I can float much of it, and that helps me maintain stability walking on very uncertain, muddy and slick ground. So a waterfowling spear is a good idea. Now, because I do muzzleloading, I of course shoot muzzleloaders, and we have our usual bunch out here. First off, for our primary gun, we have our new Woodman's arm.
This is the Woodman Arms Patriot with hunting accessories.
Now the Woodman is a break barrel muzzleloader, and it is a modern muzzleloader, and the barrel breaks like yay, and you load a 209 primer, and it has a detachable breech plug. This is a very lightweight gun. As it is with the red dot sight, it is 6 and a fraction of pounds. Very light and handy for stalking. However, this is not a gun you want to shoot a heavy load in. About 85 grains of powder, and I'm using 777, and about a 250 odd grain bullet is what you want to shoot out of here. If you load 150 grains of powder and a 400 grain bullet, you will wish you had not. The gun will physically take it, but the recoil out of this lightweight gun would be punishing indeed. I always bring a backup gun on these hunts when I go off hundreds of miles away from home. This year, it is my refurbished Moxberry.
I'm now targeting the Moxberry with a black powder load.
Now this gun had a split fore-end, which I repaired by putting a new fore-end cap on it made of American ironwood, and I have a separate video about that one, by the way, if you care to see the details.
This is a new fore-end I made for the Moxberry, capping it with American desert ironwood.
This is another 50 caliber muzzleloader, and the load I use in this is 85 grains of FG black and a saboted bullet that weighs 260 odd grains. In effect, at usual shooting ranges with iron sights, that is between 50 and 100 yards, no deer would ever know the difference. This uses a number 10 or number 11 cap, percussion cap, and it works just fine with black powder. For waterfowling, because I already had more than enough junk to carry around, I'm using a conventional shotgun. Unusual for me. Usually I would use a muzzleloader of some sort. But this year I brought my old, dependable Mossberg 500. This is chambered for 3-inch shells. I have a waterfowl wrap on it.
Here is a selection of Mossberg 500s. Now the gun I actually used is the 3-inch 12-gauge version, the second gun from the right.
Now the weather has been so warm, I don't know how good we're going to do for ducks out there. Not very, I don't suspect. What I may come up with is about 3 coots for coot soup, and that's it. Almost always when I do deer and hog hunting, I take a backup revolver of some sort. And this is the Pieta Buffalo revolver, originally in stainless steel.
This is a Pieta stainless steel revolver before I had it coated with a black nitride matte finish.
It now has a black nitride coating by H&M Coating of Akron, Ohio. It has adjustable sights, and in this gun I have it loaded with 777 powder and a round ball load. Out of this barrel, this gun is a very effective deer killer, and it has killed deer before and hogs. So this is a very useful and effective gun. Always I experiment with unusual stuff, and this is Florida after all, and it is nearly 70 degrees right now and may even get up to 80 by midday, and Florida's full of snakes. And so we have a snake gun, muzzleloader. Wasn't originally. This is a Soviet block flare pistol that I have converted for use as a snake gun.
There's a world of these Soviet block flare pistols being sold. All of them have the same basic design but differ in detail.
This pistol is, I believe, originally for a 42 millimeter flare. Well, we don't have 42 millimeter flares in North America. We use 12 gauge flares. So there is made and commonly available an insert barrel to take 12 gauge flares. However, this insert barrel does not take 12 gauge shot shells, and purposefully so, because any shot shell in 12 gauge fired through this gun is damn dangerous to the point of being deadly. However, I had my machine shop bore this out so it would take 12 gauge shells. This thing will take 12 gauge 3.5-inch shells. Yeah, you don't want to shoot a 12 gauge 3.5-inch shell or any other 12 gauge shells in this gun, or you will very likely blow the gun, injure, maim, and maybe even kill yourself or a possible bystander. Don't do it, guys. What I have done is taken 12 gauge cases and cut off the bases, and I use these as a priming carrier. Then I load with 50 grains of WFG, 7/8 ounce of shot, and conventional wads. Now the wads have to be specially cut, and I use a nickel and cut them out a piece of styrofoam egg crate, as well as conventional fiber 12 gauge wads, which I split in half. And I have a video on all of this if you want to see the details.
I'm shooting my low pressure black powder load at night, and wow, that thing has some recoil too.
And this is a very effective shot pistol and throws a pattern about like this at 10 yards. It is deadly on snakes with number 7.5 shot. Yes, sir. We also have some wet weather boots, although we didn't need them here. But in Florida, yeah, you need to take your wet weather boots as well as conventional ones. And we had some trauma with our old tree stand over here, our Tomcat. We actually bent the frame on it, trying to get it around a twisted piece of cypress tree. But we're going to take that back and re-straighten it and actually replace it this year. Yeah, I've killed a world of game out of that old stand. It was given to me by my late aunt, and I love it, but it's time for it to be actually replaced. So now We're going to load up this gear and see if we can find some ducks and geese and stuff. And we'll see you there.
This is a Prairie Lake Unit and 3 Lake WMAs located in Central Florida. And it is now the last week in December. And I'm hunting in shirt sleeves. It's about 80 degrees right now. And here we may shoot a deer, 3 points on a side, or one that has a 10-inch main beam. And there's a lot of hog sign down here adjacent to the lake. So I've been set up by this hog sign and this fence row. And we've been hunting here for 2 days and not seen any hogs or deer, and very few waterfowl. Some Florida WMAs like this one have huge prairies, either with sawgrass or palmetto palms. And this one has palms and scattered pine trees. And this is hundreds of acres. And these prairies are cut with little guts that have oaks and cypress trees. And it's in these oaks and cypress that the deer and hogs are, or at least they come into them to feed and water, and that's where I am going. I've marked me a trail through about 100 yards of these nasty palmettos, going back to more open country amongst the cypress and oaks. Now that I'm up the tree, we have a nice travel path almost all the way around. With acorns on the ground and water. And why would not a deer and hog just love this? And now we have a view from the ground of the cypress, including, what you can't see are some ponds holding water. Good open area. In backyard deer hunting, I not only talk about deer hunting, but I also cover waterfowl, small game, and with a variety of different arms. I also have extreme muzzleloading, crossbow hunting, and practical bow fishing among my outdoor books. In a series on muzzleloading guns, I have shooting and maintaining your muzzleloader, hunting with muzzleloading shotguns and smoothbore muskets, and hunting big and small game with muzzleloading pistols. Now, I didn't see any game on this trip, and no one else was successful either. It was just late in the season, and the beasties were moving at night. Now, I have other videos on these individual guns, as well as a recipe for coot soup. For more information on my books, blogs, and more than 580 videos, you can go to my website, www.hoviesmith.com. Good hunting and good eating from the outdoors. Goodbye, and God bless.